me and my group decided we wanted to create a way of playing games using an Arduino. To do this, we decided to have a touchscreen device connected to the Arduino that would execute key presses on the keyboard. With these ideas in mind, we created this. This is the touchscreen device that we connected to an Arduino. Do I know how the touchscreen works exactly? Not at all. But me and my group have figured out a way in which if you press on a certain space on the touchscreen, it will execute the key presses that you need, these being the W, A, S, and D keys. With these, you can play many different games, such as Snake, Pac-Man, Minecraft, baseball, if you're brave enough to play baseball with an Arduino. Home run! You can also use it to write stuff on Notepad. Like, look, I wrote this earlier. See? Cool. Huh. No, but in all seriousness, this touchscreen works like how the W, A, S, and D keys do on your keyboard. To prove this, I'll play a bit of Minecraft. Look, as you can see, we're now in Minecraft, and we have this set up. If I switch over to Minecraft, look, I can now look around and whatnot. We can move backwards, we can move forward. What the... Maybe Snake's a better example. So the way that me and my group coded the touchscreen was that red is W, which is up, blue is S, which is down, yellow is A, which is left, and pink / magenta is D, which is right. So with that, let's jump into Snake. Okay, that clip was a joke. I apologize. But as you can see in the background, I am actually successfully playing Snake using the touchscreen to show you that it does actually work. Now that I've gone through that, I'll show you the code that me and my group made for this project. What the fuck? Dude. Jesus. The code. This is the Arduino code that, me and my group coded. Now, I know that this kind of stuff is very boring, so I'll put a thing above my head. I don't know what it's going to be. I hope it's fun. Now, I'll try and make this as quick as I possibly can. These 2 lines of code are the 2 separate libraries that we need for the touchscreen to function. Without them, the touchscreen simply won't work. This part of the code defines the minimum and maximum value of the X and Y coordinate. These few lines of code define the colors that you can put on the touchscreen. This is just simply defining integers, old color and current color. The box size defines how big the boxes on the touchscreen are. This line of code fills the entire screen as a black box. And these lines of code draw the 4 boxes in each corner of the touchscreen, in red, blue, magenta, and yellow. What this part means is where it is on the touchscreen, 0 being it stays in the same place, box size 3 defining that it is 3 times of a normal box size, the integer that we described earlier. Now you may notice on this line of code that box size 3 is in the first part. All this does is push it 3 box sizes on the x-axis. The reason for this is so that it doesn't override the red one and is actually in the space it's supposed to be. This line of code will put a white outline on every single box only when you press on it. We used if statements for this so that we could define exactly where you press on the X and Y axis. What this line of code means is that if the X-axis is lower than 550 and the Y-axis is less than 450, it will understand that you are pressing on the red box. The same goes for all 4 of the other ones, except one of them is if it's more than 550 on the X-axis and less than 450 on the Y-axis, it will do blue, etc, etc. Where once you press on the touchscreen, it runs these if statements. Say I press where the blue box is on the touchscreen, that is X more than 550, but Y less than 450. What that does is it prints out the number 2, which goes into processing. Now, basically what this code does... That's... I didn't write that. Anyway, so the way that our code works is that we have to use processing in order for the key presses to actually get pressed. That's how you do it. So our group with little help from our teacher, and by little help I mean he pretty much wrote the entire thing, made this code. It uses robots, which I'll be honest, I don't understand. So we're just going to ignore that for a second and move on to this. These are the if statements which play into what I was talking about earlier, where they would print out a certain number. Basically, these if statements go, if it printed out the number 1, press the W key. Basically, what this if statement does is if the Arduino code printed out the number 2, it would key press the letter S. That goes for the same with all of them. If it's 1, it prints out W, if it's 3, it prints out A, and if it's 4, it prints out D. Now, to run the code, you have to run them both together, first the Arduino code and then the processing code, but once those are both ran, the touchscreen will work. You can press on a certain space on the keyboard. It will be, hey, if it's between these two coordinates, run this one. Say we clicked on red, the Arduino code would then print out the number 1, which would then go to the processing code, which would then run the if statement to say if it printed out 1, it will then press the W key. And that's how the code works and runs. I hope I didn't make it too boring or too difficult to understand, but that's the gist of it.